IBAT is a not-for-profit public charitable trust. Over a period of time, we have grown into a think tank that aims to provide a platform for policymakers, technologists, academicians, and industry leaders. So we get together, and what's the purpose? We debate, we discuss, and we share our views. While doing that, we cover a broad range of topics like contemporary management, technical issues, geopolitical issues, and also economic issues. So for today, I would like to invite Mr. Rajaram Shetty, who is a chartered accountant for the last 4 decades. I would like to invite him here, and we will listen to him and get his views on how this interesting group of 12 people have got together and how we will be using this think tank to share our ideas.
We got here people of eminence who have in their own way built their future. Once Abraham Lincoln said, you can predict your future provided you create it. So these people have created, and their journey of life actually should be visualized by all people, especially younger generation. You are welcome here. Thank you. Thank you, Ananda.
So our next speaker, the only lady in our magnificent dozen, is also very inspiring. Dr. Vanita Torvi. Empathy is seeing with the eyes of another, listening with the ears of another, and feeling with the heart of another. If Dr. Vanita sees someone without a smile, she is on a perpetual mission to give them her smile. In today's Kalyug that we call the modern world, the civilized world, the greatest cruelty is our casual blindness to the despair of others. But once in a while a crusader comes along, like Dr. Torvi over here. She is empathy personified. She begins her journey with an education in PhD in Women Self-Help Group. And let's just talk about what she's accomplished. And this is just a mere snippets on her entire career. I'm just listing a few things. She has saved many children from child labor. She has joined over 300 students back to school. She has saved over 14 girls from child marriage. She had saved a new infant baby at Koppal district. She rescued an 8-year-old girl from the clutches of a self-proclaimed godman, who kept her imprisoned, by the way, in an underground room. She has solved a lot of issues and problems for students related to education and shelter. And she got the State Award for Best Work Done in 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, please put a big hand together for Dr. Torvi. She's going to speak on the importance of girl-child education. Let's listen to her. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful introduction of myself and my work done. I think this was the most crucial and important and challenging topic today. We are discussing about the importance of girl-child education in India. When we talk about a girl child, she's been I just quoted out few points. Before introducing of myself, what I have done, what challenges have been faced, I'll just tell later. When I'm talking about the introduction of all this, like girl child importance of education, I've taken few points like what challenges a girl child is facing in the society today. When we compare of this introduction, rural, urban child education and importance is given, and importance of girl child education and low literacy rate of girl child education and its impact in the society. What a girl child has the difficulties and obstacles for the education, and role of government and to improve the status of girl child education, and present scenario of girl child education. I'll just brief few points on this. coming to the introduction, girl child is very important for a family, for a society also, as she becomes later on woman, and the woman who gives a new life birth as a new life. A girl child is needed to take proper care in family, in society, and as well as in nation also, because in many families in rural areas or anywhere else, woman herself and a child is being discriminated. I cannot directly tell because this talk should have been the first talk, so that everybody would have listened it, and we could have shared our own points on this matter also. A girl child needs complete education, and she needs to be taught the proper values that will improve her self-worth, educate girl child, and to make herself as a strong, a part of a society, and contribute herself to the family as well as the society also. She is a family, she is an asset of a family. Why I am talking, why I have taken this as a topic is, today, sitting in this area, we have been come across so many ideas, so many thinkers, they have shared their own personal experiences, those are wonderful really. But when it comes to a girl child has been denied. She is being denied in family. She doesn't have a strength to share her own feelings or anything like that. In rural areas, in some other sector areas of Karnataka, or maybe it is in India, there is no participation of girl child in family. She won't decide her education, she won't decide her marriage, she won't decide what she has to do in further life. Everything is decided by her parents or by her husband or by elders of the family. Why it is happening? So when it comes to a rural and urban girl child and their importance given to education, earlier in rural areas, there were no proper education given to children. Our girl child would have not gone to the school. They were denied in schools because of the infrastructure. They were ignored in the families. Male kid was given much more preference rather than a girl child. Why it would happen? And even much more areas where I have seen rural and urban also, girl child in rural areas especially, she take care of her siblings, younger siblings. She will work hard at home, she will even cook, wash the utensils and wash the clothes and all until their parents come back. So she is been denying education even in rural areas, even today apart from so many NGOs, government have been giving so many of benefits for the girl child, but still it is been happening. Now after education, compulsory education, and RT has been implemented in 2009, and compulsory free elementary education has been introduced from central to all the state governments. Still the ratio of getting the enrollment of girl child in rural areas has been decreased when it compared to the urban area girls. Urban area, children are more enrolled in schools, they get interacted with teachers and other community people, so more children, girl children are getting admission done in urban areas. And when we talk about the importance of girl child education, why do a girl child need an education? Why do she need? Educating girl child will improve and empower her to come forward in the society and also change her own identity. Educating them will change their social and economic development also. And if a girl child is educated, whole nation will be educated. These were said by our father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi ji, and it is absolutely true. Education is the main tool to the factor for the girl's empowerment, which leads to the prosperity or her personal development. Such factors are more there where a girl child need an education. Now, where is the low literacy of rate of the girl child education and its impact? Because inequity based on the gender inequalities, female literacy rate is lower than the male literacy rate, I can tell. And today 34 million, it is UNICEF statistical data has been given. Out of reach of school children are there, girl children. And today approximately 2019-20, we can say that more have been enrolled in higher education system of girl child. And what are the main, these are the education difficulties and obstacles what girl child is facing today. Like what are the challenges, I can tell you. These were the areas where I have worked. Child marriages, this is the first critical challenge. Girl who get early marriage and she will be dropped out from the school. She will be discontinuing the education from the high school beginning itself. An early dropout, there are reasons also why does the girl gets discontinued from the school is migration, maybe it's a disability, or children who are suffering from MR, mentally retarded. Such children come under the category of early dropouts or discontinuing of the education. And conflicts, violences, wherever the risks are more, like conflicts, any disasters, natural disasters or any violence, it affects immediately the girl children. They are supposed not to send to the schools. ನಾಳೆಯಿಂದ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನೀವು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಗಲಾಟೆ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್. The first challenge, the first person will be the girl child not to go to school because of these conflicts and all. And today children are more sexually assaulted. They have been raped, they have been kidnapped. So this area, this is the worst experience for the girl child. And the next factor is the poverty. Poverty is a main factor which it deteriorates the girl child's education, comebacks. Even the families, if they are low income based families, such families, children won't be getting education. In that education, male kids will be more promoted for the education rather than the girl child, I can tell you. And sexual abuse, as I said, rape, these are the most fearful areas where the girl children are facing. I'll later on explain 2 rape cases which have been handled personally. And as I told you, like domestic labor, child beggary are the more areas where children engage themselves rather than going to school. This has been happening even in Karnataka, in Udupi, because my districts were 14 districts during my work, and I had taken North Karnataka and South Dakshina Kannada to have a comparison how to develop the children, how to bring them back to the mainstream of education. That's how many children today they engage into child beggary. I think you will have seen even in Udupi also, main bus stand cities, and even in Manipal areas, bus stands, children go for begging. This is also reason why children keep away themselves from the schools and all. And lack of awareness, lack of interest, lack of support from the family, that's how the girl child will be kept away from the school. And one more thing is lack of school infrastructures like toilets, long distance walking and all, and children who stay in garden areas. Such girl children, they do not come for school regularly, and dropout is seen there also. And what is the role of government to improve the status of girl children? Like what government has done? Government has done so many schemes. Midday meal program is there. They are giving vitamin supplements for the girl to balance her health and deficiencies, and even they are giving the cycles in spite of all this. Many things like they have even food, midday meal, hot food is given there also. But still girl children are away from school. There are certain reasons why it is. And also like government has introduced Anganwadis, hostels, Kasturba hostels, Moraji Desa hostels for girls for a safe stay. Because if now there is a rule from government, central government, and even Supreme Court orders are there, the school should be within 1.5 kilometer. Earlier they would have walked from long distance, they would have come to the schools. That's the reason they would have dropped out. And many schools, because they do not have toilets for girls, they have even dropouts there also. And also present situations like private schools and government schools, there is a compulsory rules that every school should have a complaint box. If any girl child or any boy child or anybody wants to share something, if they have some problems, they can share through complaint box. And counseling center is compulsory in every school. This has been going on. But still, apart from all this, now the ratio of the enrollment has been increased for the girl child. What I can tell, and even many schemes are there. Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao is there, Samriddhi Yojana is there. When Karnataka government has few schemes so that where girl gets incentives if they come to school. If a rural girl child, if she comes regularly to school, 8th, 9th, 10th, the mothers are given incentives so that she can pay back to the kids and all. This is how it's going up. And what are the measures have been taken from the government to improve the scenario, present scenario? I can tell you various measures like National Commission, what I've been telling, challenges they have faced, and they have been, and Karnataka State Commission for Protection of Child Rights. We have, when during this my tenure, 2 tenures I've been working for Child Rights Commission, we have taken up few areas like child labor, bringing back children to the mainstream, and also child marriages. by telecasting a cinema called as Sandigdha, which we telecasted even in Udupi and all the 14 districts where child marriages are seen more. Those areas we could improve, and we could stop more than 800 child marriages. We could bring 1,800 children back to school by giving them bridge courses and all, and many child begging even at Malpe and all, we could go in the morning, early morning raids and all. There we could bring back the children to schools and stop the beggary and all. That's how government, national and state level governments are really working to improve the status of girl child education and their her sustainability. And these are the areas where we have worked. This was a campaign for girl children to bring back to the mainstream who have discontinued their education. Like Shala Kade Nana Nade means we have to go back to the school. We are taken up an age of 12 to 14, 14 to 16 and 16 to 18 to see that the children come back. And the first target for all these northern districts and Dakshina Kannada, Raichur was the first district of children who kept away from school and dropped out and discontinued. They were of 3,500 of the age from 6 to 12, 12 to 14, 14 to 16 and 16 to 18. We brought them back, taking in confidence of education department, women and child department and police department. We made in a category and we immediately joined the students to the hostels, gave them a bridge courses, and whoever are attained the age of 18, they could even take the examination for the 10th standard. This state commission really worked out. And child marriages really, when it comes to Udupi was the lowest of 200, only 21 students kept away from school, and those children were from migrants. They were not from the local Udupi. This happened in Udupi also. And that was an area where you could see the third photograph, the girl. I was talking about the fearful area and experience of the girl. I could handle at least more than 18 rape cases during my work period. That was a remote area where a small kid of 12 years old, she was taken in a confidence and she was a MR child. How could this all happen? I would, even and then whenever I would go to some talk, I would tell that this bad touch and good touch for a child is a must and necessary to teach them, because a child becomes a victim not by an unknown people, by only known people. That child, many photographs we are not supposed to display on the boards and all. That area, she was MR and her father's friend daily would come to home to talk to the child meticulously, give her chocolates and make her friendly. So one day what he did is, he took away that child, some remote area, he tried to rape her and strangulated and killed her in that area. That was very, heart touching for me, because we couldn't, with the help of police and district CWC, Child's Commission has a right, it can interfere immediately and take up an action. Mother and sister called me, madam, you have to help us see that our child has been done that too in a MR child, so merciful and pitiful. We could not immediately get that with the help of police only. Police tried hard and got immediately later, because he was with the people only, he was her with the father, with mother, everybody, but they couldn't identify who was the accused. Later on, it was found to be father's friend only. That's how it happens. And the other thing also, like I can tell you here. And these are the areas where we have, why the girl child will have a discontinuation. We had a campaign of, looking after all the hostels. We recommended government and we gave in a safety measures to take up to have a girl to have a safe stay in hostels. CC cameras were done, all the toilets and bathrooms were cleaned out, water was given and watchmen were given, so that the young girls whoever are there should not leave, the discontinue the education, they can come back to the hostels and stay back. And these bathrooms and toilets were so dirty and ugly, so these are the reasons why children, they discontinue the education in some areas, because see, everybody, whatever I think many of us, we have joined to a private schools and convent schools and we have seen better schools, but however it comes to rural, really when people are poor, they can't afford to their children, such bathrooms are there. Girls after puberty, they hesitate to come to schools where they do not have water or bathrooms, something like that. And in Delhi, National Commission, it introduced pink toilets for women and children wherever the malls are there and wherever the malls are, like any shopping centers are there. Pink toilets are only for girls. They can go change the sanitary napkins if they need, and monitored by gender, transgenders there actually. In that sense they had introduced in Delhi for National Commission. They have been putting up, working out at even state commissions also to introduce these pink toilets in railway station, bus stations and malls and nearby to schools and colleges, so that girl children can feel free to go, because these things are better in Karnataka. I had been to Bihar and Rajasthan. There you feel like there are no toilets, no bathrooms. If bathrooms are there, no water. Such things are more there, and that's the reason this has been happening. And what it happened in a blind school in one of the district in North Karnataka, there were only 2 students in blind school, and the head of the blind school was also blind. What it happened, he would take all the donations and keep him for himself, not giving the students and all. All the children, they planned for a mass suicide. Like 5 students, they were walking holding their hands, and they wanted to go. Somebody, they heard that suicide something and all. So they were walking towards the mass suicide. Then some auto wala stopped them and asked why it's happening. They then narrated all the stories. Then we took an initiative from Commission. We raided the school and we saved all the kids and all. Among them, 22 students, 8 kids got back their eyes, because nobody were checked out. That person who was the head of the school was de-recognized, and he was handed over to the police, and later on it was taken under the custody of government. Such 8 children, they got back their eyes back, and today they are all leading the happy life, though they are blind, because we need to work out with them. Only they can experience the touch feeling. And the government is working on them and see that they get eyesight in later on years also. And before conclusion, I would like to narrate few instances of rape, if you all don't mind, sir. I have in my work experience 18 rape cases. I have inquiry was done by me, and I have got threat calls. I have gotten fear calls. They have threatened me, and I would not like to tell away the area and region. But one I could narrate you. Baindur case, why I told you, like the girl was Akshata, call name. It was during 2017-18, I think so. The girl child has to come from Garden House to Baindur College. She was into PUC first year, and she was strangulated and she was sexually assaulted and killed later on. Why it happens? Because of all this long distance walk and all. That's how it happened there. And parents lost their daughter. She was a brilliant student in school, and later on first year she was studying in Baindur. She was killed by an unknown person who really followed her daily, and somehow it happened. Today we saw that even he was also a minor of 17 years old. This should not happen, because you see everything government cannot do. The NGOs have to come up. Local area colleges like Manipal and MIT should even contribute some of their time amount to the local areas, local schools. What are the drawbacks of the school? We can even come over that. When with the help of police department, women and child and education department, we took care of their other siblings also to join them back to school, supported the family, and gave an awareness of the local area. And one thought was given by me, like what I thought is, see, every day a girl can't be monitored by parents or somebody, because parents need to go to their work back. So we thought we will go with a drum beating, like a group of girls or boys, they all make a group of people, 8 to 10 from that area, beat the drum and join to school and come back collectively and go back collectively. This was the heart touching, and that one instance what I told you was also in heart touching. And one more, like this was the only kid, I would like to tell you. Those were in a tube well pipe, actually pump well and tube well. While what we say is the kid was fallen unknowingly, incidentally in that tube well. It was the only kid for the parent. This also happened with the negligence of owner of the land and parents also. Such things should not happen. And when it comes to a rape case, there was one more rape case in North Karnataka, Bijapura. It was so much nationally highlighted. Why? Because due to this religious and that, this and all. What it had, actually wanted to narrate that as a case study. I would like to give a message to the youth and youngsters. You see, whenever there is a time and freedom, and acquittance, whatever it is being given by you, by the parents and the institution, make avail of it in a proper time and use. The both boy and girl were involved. It was highlighted like something else. The girl was raped by a friend and also so-called 2 to 3 boys, and she was actually medically proven that she was like breathless and she passed away, but it was called as murder and raped and all. So that's how it made so much sound of the rape in North Karnataka, that to school going child. So such things should not happen. That's the reason how to stop them. So many things I have been telling. Child is suffering from child labor, child marriage and beggary, and many things are there. But how to come to a conclusion? How can a control be done on that? So we all need to be, it's a responsible of all, me, you and everybody. See that a girl child is moved towards an education, so that if she gets an education, she can prove herself for her identity. She can think about all the negative evils they are practicing in society. She can even stand for it. She can fight for it. She can say no for it. So when there isn't a no education, then I don't think her area of mind will be blocked, and she'll be blocking her area only. There's a reason many things are there where we can cope up. Government is doing on one side with so many programs, so many schemes giving to the girls education, but I feel that each and every one of us take it as a personal responsibility and duty of yourself to save a girl child. If we save any one girl child, she will be a mother, later on mother, and she can contribute something with getting an education to her family, and then later on to a nation also. Today, by getting all these availments, women are standing somewhere else. As myself, take an example of me. When I can tell about myself, I was nothing before getting married to my husband. He was a KS officer, later on turned to an IAS officer. Later on, I had my 3 kids, and then continued my post-graduation of MA, 2 master degrees in Women's Studies and Delhi Institute of Human Rights, and later on I did my PhD. I worked in university as a visiting faculty. I go for many universities for a special talk on women empowerment and girl child education, and how to empower a girl child and woman, and working for a state commission. And I'll be calling, I had even visited Indonesia and many other countries and neighboring states also, to only see how girl and how women are working there. So I feel that there are so many instances, if we keep on engaging, if we keep on talking about how girl child is. So at the last conclusion, I would like to tell that education of girl child is right. It has to, everybody has to support it and bring her back to school. If we go somewhere, if somebody begs a child, we take out a 10 rupee note thinking that okay, I'll help her by giving her 100 rupee. No, do not do that. See that you just immediately call to 1098. If she is suffering with something else, kindly help her in other way. By giving money, we would not do anything to her, but by giving her education, we can make her much more changes in her life. NGOs, especially in Udupi, have spoken many times to the district organization and government also. NGOs should come forward to make more awareness, because many things are happening here also. Sexually children are assaulted, and many that awareness has to be given, and school going children has to be given more awareness of how they have to be with others, unknown person, and also with the family members. Many of the time what it happens, a child believes brother's friend, sister's friend, father's friend, somehow it gets the victim of the sexually assaulted. And also people, what it happens when we are celebrating her wedding, girl's wedding, we do not mind expenditures done on her in an unlimited area. But when it comes to education, we just hesitate. Why to give much education for her, because she will be later on going to somebody else's house. And to the woman, she populates herself 50% to men, but still she lags behind in her skill development, in her education, everything. She stands back as a second person in the society. So let's all see that today teachers are there, professors are there, doctors are there, even women, she's been participating even in army as a personal official. So I wish and pray that and see that later on days, girl child doesn't be behind school, or she will not be as a child labor, or child, she should not get married as a child labor. I can tell you one instance in Belgaum, Jaganuru. There's a place called as 15 years old girl was a widow there. 15 years old girl. She was a widow there. Why? Because though that village doesn't have school, and any girl should come up to get a higher primary education, she has to come back to Belgaum. So what the people does there, they'll stop the education by 6th, 7th standard and they'll get married, early marriages. So one instant what it happened, the girl was 14 years when she got married. The boy whom she married was suffering from tuberculosis, and immediately after going there she had a baby by 15 years, and the husband was died. And they all, the religious practices and all made her convert into widow, and they send her back to her family. She was 16 years when she came back to her mother family, and then it was brought the notice to the CWC, Child Welfare Committee. Later on it was a national issue, but such issues are not brought in newspapers. Okay, only newspapers are having only ads, what I can tell you. Later on, when the case study was done to her, she was really exploited by her brother-in-law, father-in-law, when her husband passed away. She was joined to some other private school by giving hostel facilities. The kid was reared up in child care center. This how I can tell you, there are so many instances where girl has been suffering from sexually assaulted, or lack of education, or not having a family support, and at the end the girl child will be the sufferer stage, I can tell you. I would like to thank IBAT, and I would like to thank team.
Thank you, dear friends, for watching this episode of iTALK. iTALK is an event that was brought to you by IBAT, the think tank, in association with U Channel. This edition of iTALK tried to bring in 12 thinkers, doers and idea generators from diverse fields on a single platform. I hope you will watch and listen to our 11 other speakers too and enjoy it. If you have liked our program, please subscribe to our channel by clicking on subscribe button. Thank you. Have a great day ahead. Thank you, dear friends.